so much for joining me in my second craft fair project idea. I am so excited to share this project with you. Not only is it because it's this year's tea favor project, but I also am absolutely in love with the paper that I used. I used the Maggie Holmes Heritage collection, and I've been hoarding this collection forever, and I finally was able to use it on this project, and I think it's absolutely the perfect paper for tea favors. So this is a new design this year, and it took a lot of trial and error to get these dimensions and get everything to fit right, but I figured it all out, and I am so excited to sell these at my craft fair. So as you can see, I've got multiple ones made here. They're not completely done though. This one here is complete, and we're gonna make one here on video. I wanted to share that I have a lot of my covers made, and I just have to make the inside. So let me go ahead and show you what it is we're making today. I am so excited. So right here is my tea favor wallet. I played around with a lot of things, and I came up with this, and I am so happy with it. So here is the cover. It is so beautiful. Here's the back. And let me open this up and show you the inside. So I just closed it with some beautiful seam binding. So to open it up, I just pull the front one out and leave it hanging in the second hole. Open it, and inside is a double pocket with 2 T's. So here's this one, and I stuck that one in there. It's a cute little double pocket, and I made some decorative siding right here. And then over here is just a plain piece of like a mauve colored cardstock to write a message to whoever you're gonna give this to. So then the T just goes right back in the pockets, just like that. And I even made like a little 1/4 inch spine, so that way it's not too bulky. And it's the cutest little tea favor. So let me show you all the covers that I made, and then we're gonna do the full tutorial. So I used the Heritage collection, and on the cover of each one of these, I used a piece of the chipboard out of this chipboard sheet. So I'm just gonna show you all the covers. I haven't done the inside or the closure yet, but here are the covers. For the scrapbook paper, you'll need a piece that measures 4 3/4 by 11 1/4. And this one's double-sided. For the pocket page, which is where your T's are gonna go in, the pocket page measures 4 inches by 10 1/2. And then you'll need this little mat piece to write your message, and this one measures 4 by 4. Then you'll need 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that measure 4 by 1. Okay, so let's get started in putting this thing together. So first, let's do some scoring. You're gonna take your base piece, and this one is the one that measures 4 3/4 by 11 1/4. So I have it in here on the 11 1/4 inch side, and you're gonna make several score marks. So the first one you're gonna make is at 1/2 inch. Then the second score mark is 1 inch. Then the third score mark you're gonna make is at 5 1/2. Then do one at 5 3/4. Then go all the way down here and do one at 10 1/4. And the last one is at 10 3/4. So I'm just gonna go over that again. You did 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 5 1/2, 5 3/4, 10 1/4, 10 3/4. Okay, so that's your base piece. Let's set that aside. And then bring in your pocket page. This one is the one that measures 4 by 10 1/2. And here are the score lines for this one. The first one is gonna be at 1 3/4. The second one is 3.5. Then 5.5. And the last one is 7. So I know these seem weird, and trust me, I did so much trial and error on this until I got it the perfect way to where the T sits in the pocket good and the dimensions all work. So I figured it all out for you, and these are the dimensions, these are the score lines. I know it seems weird right now where we scored, but it's gonna come together, I promise. Take your 2 little pieces that measure 1 by 4, and you're gonna just score these right down the middle. So I'm gonna score right down the middle at 1/2 inch. And do that for both of your little pieces. Okay, so now let's go ahead and fold these up. Let's do the base first, which is the little folder. So this has many, many score lines. So the first thing you're gonna do is find the 2 in the middle. And this is a 1/4 inch little spine that we made by making those 2 score lines. And the reason we did a little spine is because this folder has a little bulk with the T's in there. So I wanted to make sure there's plenty of room for those, and so I made a little 1/4 inch spine. So there's our little spine. I folded on those 2 score lines. So the first thing we're gonna do is just take the one that's nearest to the middle and fold it back. Do that on both sides. And then you're gonna go and take the first 1/2 inch score line and fold it like this. So we did that one on this side, and we're gonna do the same thing on this side. So what this does is it gives 4 layers of paper, and it gives a little decorative edge also. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where you're gonna add your little closure. And that way it is separate from our little panel here where our T pockets are gonna go. So now I'm just gonna open this up, and I wanna go ahead and glue this flap down just like that. So I'm just gonna take my tape runner, and I'm just gonna glue that down. So now we only really have 1/2 inch of slack right here, but it's 2 layers of paper. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. So I just turn it this way, and we're gonna glue that down. So it's the other pattern on the outside. Glue it down. And now again, we have 1/2 inch here, but it's 2 layers of paper. And then when you close it, now you have this flexible 1/2 inch piece where we're gonna add our closure. Okay, so we're done with this for now. So let's go ahead and bring in our pocket piece. Okay, so here's our pocket piece. And we made our first score line, remember, at 1 3/4. So that's where you're gonna start your fold. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that 1 3/4 score line, and you're gonna bring it up like this, like a mountain peak right here. So you're gonna score it so it kind of stands like this, like a peak. Then you're going to go to your next score line and fold down. So the next one is right here. You're gonna fold that down, and it comes together like this. Okay, so then you're gonna take your next score line, which is the one right above this edge right here. It's like 1/4 inch away. So you're gonna take that one, and you're gonna fold that into a peak. The last score line right here, you're gonna fold it in like that. So it looks kind of funny, but this is how the T is gonna be nestled in there, and it'll look super cute. As I keep it folded like this, and I just turn it over, and I want to glue these down so they're not coming up like this. So all I do is I just keep this closed like it is, and then I take my tape runner and I simply pull the first one up and give a couple lines of glue and just place that down. Then I'll take the next flap and do the same thing. Just add a couple of strips of glue and put it down. You don't have to do that perfectly because we're gonna have these little side pieces that are gonna keep this closed, but I just kind of wanted to get those little flaps out of the way. So we're gonna take our 2 4x1 pieces, and I'm gonna just fold these right in half. And you're just gonna decide what side you want this on. So I like it on the blue side. And this is gonna just go right here, and it's gonna close those 2 sides to make pockets. So I'm just gonna open this up and cover this with adhesive. So you do want some strong adhesive here so it doesn't come apart. Okay, so then you're gonna take your little pocket and you're just gonna sandwich this on the side. So I like to lay it down and then line this up right at the score line. Just don't go over that score line. And just lay that down and then close that up. So now we have the first side all done. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing on this side. So you're gonna need some teas, and these are the ones that I have. I will try to find all these and link them below. Tea is pretty inexpensive and you get a lot. Just make sure you get the kind that are individually wrapped. So I think I'm gonna go with these two. And we're just gonna pull out 2 tea bags. This one is hibiscus. And then I'm gonna do the orange cinnamon spice. So we're gonna tape this in our little book, but I want to show you how it looks in the pocket. So here's your 2 pockets, one here and one here. So you're going to stick the tea in the first pocket just like that, and then stick this one in the back pocket. So they're kind of staggered, you can see them, and they look super cute in there. So I'm going to take those out for a second, and this is where you want really strong adhesives. So I do have my 1/2 inch Scor Tape, and that's what I'm gonna use to glue this in our little booklet. So I'm gonna get all the way to the edge. So I got all the Scor Tape on there, and I already released the backing on those 2 pieces. So you just wanna make sure you use really strong adhesive for this part because it's gonna bulk up a little bit when you put the tea in there. So we just want to make sure it's really sticky. Okay, here's our cute little pocket. So bring in your booklet, and then we're just going to center that on this right hand panel. Okay, so I've got that all glued in. I'm going to press it down. And before we put the tea in, we're going to put our little map page, which is this one right here. So the person who gets this can write a little message over here to whoever they're gifting this to. If you really wanted to, you could do another pocket and put another tea pocket on that side, and you can have 4 teas in there. It'll get a little bulky, but it'll still be cute. So I'm gonna put this over here, and then we're gonna decorate a sticker or something in a little bit. But I'm just gonna try to make it even. That looks good. So our cute little booklet is really coming along. And then it closes like this. And so I thought about what I wanted to do for the cover. And with this heritage collection, I have the chipboard pieces, and I kind of want to use them up. So that's what I did on these others. I just did a chipboard piece. And I thought that was very simple and very elegant and cute. So I'm going to open this up so I have the cover flat down on my surface. And I'm going to go ahead and just choose one and add it to the cover. Okay, so I chose this cute little flower bouquet. I've added a few little strips of Scor Tape to this just to make it stronger. And I'm just going to center that right on my cover. It's just very simple and it goes quick. You could put like a sticker sentiment on here, but here's how it looks. I think it's super cute, and the seam binding is going to add a decorative touch as well. So if you don't have any eyelets, you don't have to put an eyelet on here. you've got 4 layers of paper right here, so it's pretty strong, and you could just punch a hole and string your ribbon through, or your twine, or whatever you're using. But I'm gonna go ahead and use some eyelets because I have a bunch of them, and I'm gonna use these smaller ones. They're still 3/16 of an inch, but they're the skinnier ones. So I'm gonna use 2 of these like cream color, and all you do is just take your hole punch, and you're just gonna eyeball the center. Make sure your edges are lined up and just punch through all 4 layers. So because we have this little 1/2 inch piece over here, you know you're not gonna disturb the pocket or any part on the actual panels. So now that we have that, I'm just gonna feed my eyelet through the first one, just like this. I didn't realize it wasn't recording when I did this side, but I just did the exact same thing on this side. And we know they're perfectly lined up because we punched the hole together. And you're just gonna find some beautiful ribbon or twine. In my case, you know I'm gonna use seam binding. And I'm gonna use this color called Light Cream. And of course it's from MyScrapcabinShop on Etsy, my favorite Etsy shop. And she has beautiful seam binding, and I'll link below my coupon code along with her shop link. So you can go over and stock up for the craft fair season. But before we close this up, I'm gonna go ahead and open this and put our teas in there. So I think I'm gonna put this in the front and then that one in the back. Okay, so once we have our teas in there, nice and snug, you just close this up and we're gonna tie it off with our seam binding. But see how the little 1/4 inch makes it so it's not so bulky, and it's a nice closure with that extra 1/2 inch panel over here. So I'm just gonna take my seam binding and feed it through both of those holes, starting from the back. And I'm just gonna tie this in a bow. Okay, so I finished it off with the seam binding. It is super cute. I love how it turned out. And I think that adds a little feminine, cute touch to it. It is so adorable. So you just undo the seam binding. And that can be left strung through that hole. And then you just open it up, and there's 2 cute tees in here. And you can write a little message over here. Cutest little favor ever. I'm gonna grab my stickers that came with this collection, and I wanna decorate the inside just a little bit because this is just so plain. And I kind of want to add a little something to the front. I wonder how a label would look up here. Or maybe off to the side. I'm just going to chance it and go for it. I just felt like it needed something else on here. So let's see, yeah. And then we should put a little sentiment in there. So this just says from the heart, and I'm going to add that in the middle. It's very subtle, and I really like that. So let me give you a close-up. So it just adds a little something to the cover. Okay, let's talk about pricing. I mentioned in a lengthier disclaimer in my last video that this is the price that I'm gonna be charging at my craft fair. You can charge whatever you want. You can do all the calculations and what the hours you put into it and the products and all the costs. I'm simply going to tell you what I will be charging at my craft fair. This is not an Etsy price. This is not what I would list these for on Etsy, but this is what I'm going to sell them for at my craft fair. So I decided I'm going to be charging $4 each. So I love how this turned out. It is so adorable. There's our front cover. and then you just slip the seam binding in that hole and tie it in a cute little bow. And there's the back. And I want to show you how I'm packaging these for my craft fair. So what I'll do is I'll leave one out on my display table, and that way people can open it up and kind of see what it is. And then I'll just say that the designs vary, and obviously they can see the paper's different. But how I'm gonna package all the rest of them so fingerprints and things like that don't get on here, and it's a very nice finished product, is I'm taking this clear bag, and these are from clearbags.com, super thick and shiny and clear, and this is the one I'm using. So don't worry about writing that down or anything, because I'm gonna link this exact one below along with my coupon code for 10% off. So if you take this, here's the top of the bag where the longer flap is, and I'm just gonna stick this in. It fits perfectly into this size bag, so where it doesn't squish the seam binding. And then I'm just gonna undo the adhesive seal and just kind of loosely close this. And then that way you can even add like your sticker for your business. I have like my Lyric Lover stickers I can put back here, and it won't harm the product. But there you go, that's how it looks all packaged up. That's what I'm gonna do for all the rest of them. I'm gonna package them in these clear bags size, and I'll have this exact size linked below. Okay, so there's all the beautiful tea favors, and I have so many more to make. I've cut all the paper down, and here's the one we made together. So I'm gonna make this many more. I have all these papers cut down to make covers, and then I have all the paper cut down to make the inside pockets right here. And then of course, the 1-inch strips. So I'm gonna be listening to some music, drinking my tea, and making a ton more of these tea favors. But I wanted to get the video out so you guys could see how beautiful they are. And I just absolutely love this. And I think they're gonna be a great seller at my craft fair. I just think like if you paired this with like a cute mug or a book or something for a friend as a gift, or you could even just make a bunch of these for favors, for a tea party or anything. It's just such a fun project, so easy, and it uses up a lot of scrapbook paper. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I'll be back in a couple days for my next craft fair project. Thanks for watching. Bye.